Hey y'all, it's Lana again, and I'm back with another recipe. And today I'm going to show you guys how to make everyone's favorite southern dessert, drumroll please, banana pudding. And it's actually really easy to make, and if you've been making it with instant Jell-O pudding, I'm about to teach you how to make homemade custard, and it's a game changer, I'm telling you. So let's get started. All right, so let's see if you guys can see what I've got going on here. All right, so first thing here is you want to separate out 5 eggs, okay? And I've got the bowl from my stand mixer so I can whip some meringue. So I'm going to go ahead and just separate them directly into that. I've already got 4 here done, so I'm going to do 1 more. And of course, you know, I don't do anything fancy. I just take an egg and I crack it. And I just use the shell to separate the white from the yolk. And that's it. And now you want to be extra careful when you're doing this because you do not want to get any of the yolk into the white. And this is crucial because the yolk is where all the fat lives. So any oil or fat is going to keep your meringue from whipping correctly. Also, it helps if you bring your eggs to room temperature, which I did. I've had them out on the counter for about an hour, so they're pretty warm, and that also helps, okay? So now that I have this, I'm just going to sit it to the side, and we're going to focus first on our vanilla custard, okay? So now, in addition to my 5 egg yolks, all right, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of flour. We're going to just do all of this before we ever put it on the heat, okay? And then 3/4 cup of regular granulated sugar. And then 2 cups of whole milk, okay? And you don't want to use 2% here, you want to use whole because we want the richness. As you see, I have a little bit more than 2 cups. I always go all the way to the top, so really it's probably 2 1/4 cups, and I do this because it's the way my mom taught me to do it. So we're going to add that in as well. All right. Now, before I ever bring this over to the stove, we're going to go ahead and mix it all together with a whisk. Go ahead and incorporate everything, and this keeps us from getting any lumps. Now, some people are nervous about custards because they're under the impression that they have to use a double boiler to make it. Well, you don't. As long as you watch it and you stir it and you keep it on medium heat, you're not going to have any problems. You know, you're not going to have lumps. It's not going to burn. You just watch it, and it is so easy. And I mean, this is it, okay? All we're going to do when it thickens is we're going to add some vanilla. You've got custard. I hate to give away my secret because everyone's always so impressed when I make it. Now they're going to know how easy it is. Maybe this was a bad video. Okay, guys. That is great. Look at that. See how eggy and velvety that is? It's perfect. All right, so now let me just get this over on the stove and I'll come back for you guys. Okay. All right. So now, let's just get where you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right, I'm going to turn my stove on to medium-high heat. So if you can see how mine is here, I'm going to put it on 4. So kind of in between medium-high heat. Everyone is a little bit different. Now it's going to take it a minute to get going. So during that time, what I always do is go ahead and get my vanilla wafers and my bananas ready. So, if you'll take a look here, I've already got it started. You want to use Nilla wafers. Try not to get an off-brand if you can avoid it, because there really is a difference. And then this is a family size box. You really only need just a regular box. I have a few left, which is nice because you'll have some extra for decorating. So you might want to get a big box if you want to. So now, in addition to 1 box of Nilla wafers, you're also going to use 5 bananas, medium to large size. Now you see all the spots? That means it's sweet and it's ripe, and that's what we want. This is actually perfect for banana pudding. I don't want it to be much further than this, but I definitely don't want them to be green. So let's go ahead and add our 5th banana in. All I do is just peel it like so. And I just take a knife and just slice it just like that, okay? And now a lot of different recipes say you want to layer everything together like a trifle, and I don't do anything like that. I just take my butter knife and I just toss the bananas in with the wafers, and they're good to go, and they're just going to sit here and wait until we get our custard. Now, at this point, your custard is going to take a few minutes to thicken. So you want to just keep an eye on it. It's probably going to take maybe somewhere around 10 minutes. You don't want it to happen too fast, so don't try to rush it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'm going to come back to you guys in just a few minutes. Okay guys, I'm back. I don't want you to miss this. At this point, we physically had our custard on the heat for only about maybe 6 minutes, and it's really starting to steam. So I'm going to move my camera down so you guys can kind of watch. So it's not boiling, but it is starting to steam quite a bit. So I know that I'm getting to the point where it's going to start to thicken soon. So I don't want you guys to miss it. Now, as soon as you feel it start to thicken, we're going to pull it from the heat and add our vanilla, and it's going to be done because it's going to set up pretty fast. So this is the tricky part. You just want to watch it. This is not something that you can walk away from. So I can already tell that the viscosity is changed. It's a little thicker when I drag my whisk through it, but just slightly. So at this point, I'm just going to keep an eye on it. And when it's ready, it's ready. When my husband and I were dating, the very first thing that I ever made for him was this banana pudding. So you could call it Get You a Husband Banana Pudding if you wanted to. Because, ladies, let me tell you, this will get you a husband. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to see if I can show you guys this. Look what's happening. Do you see it? It's barely starting to bubble, and it's starting to thicken, okay? So at this point, we're going to whisk vigorously, right? And we're looking for that moment. You see it? It's still kind of loose. Not quite custard. And look how fast that happens. We're there. I'm turning the heat off. And I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I always eyeball it, so I'm just going to go 1, 2. Oh yeah. Look at that. You see that consistency? Can you see it? That is perfection, okay? Now, we're going to go right over here, and we're going to pour it into our wafers and bananas. All right. So let's do this. Look at that. Look how velvety and beautiful that is. I mean, that's the money shot right there. Look at that. So I'm just going to get this in here. And, all right. I'm just going to kind of move the wafers and the bananas around a bit. Make sure that they all get a little bit of the love. Okay. All right, look at that. We are halfway there. So now we've got that all incorporated. We're going to let these guys hang out for a minute while we whip the egg whites. Now, one thing I do too is, you see I've made a mess on the edge of my bowl. I'm going to kind of clean that up, because when we add our meringue to the top, we want to have a clean edge for it to stick to, and also for it to be pretty coming out of the oven. So let's just go ahead and clean up that edge. There we go. Feel free to lick your fingers if it's only your family eating it, right? Okay, so we're going to push that back out of the way. We're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you guys the egg whites. Now, I've already put the bowl over here in my KitchenAid, and we're just going to get them started, okay? So mind the noise. Also, at this point, I've already got my oven preheating to 350 degrees, okay? So we're going to turn this up. We're going to get them a little bit frothy. Alright, you see how they're starting to froth? I'm going to start adding in 1/4 cup of just regular granulated sugar. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it up on high, and I'm going to let them whip, so I'm going to see you guys back in just a minute. Okay, as you guys see, they're nice and thick and whipped now. They've taken on a glossiness, which helps you know that they're ready. Okay. Now I'm going to see if you guys can take a look. You see they're nice and thick and whipped. So now we're going to spread them on top of our pudding. Okay, let's do this. So now we're just going to dump these guys right on the top. And one thing with meringue is you want to bring it all the way to the edge. So once I get these all on here, I'm going to make sure that all the edges are touching. Because one thing that does is it helps the meringue not shrink in the oven, because it's stuck to the edges, so it doesn't have anywhere to go. So I'm gonna go and seal this guy off really well. And I like a lot on the top, so as you see, it's mounded up. So there we go. And beautiful. Make sure it's kind of even. I apologize for my dogs barking in the background. So what I want to do now is create some nooks and crannies, because all these little bits are going to get golden brown and beautiful in the oven. So I just make it look nice, just like that. Beautiful. Okay, now the Nilla wafers that we reserved we're going to take a couple of them because this is the tale of what's inside of it, right? Everyone sees their grandmother put some Nilla wafers around the edge. So we're going to do the same thing. I always liked to eat them as a kid. They were my favorite, the ones around the edge. Okay. So there we go. All right, I'm gonna stick this guy in the oven. I've lowered my rack one level because I don't want it to be too close to the top because it'll brown too fast. I'm gonna leave it in there for about 10 minutes, once again at 350 degrees, and we're gonna leave it in there until the meringue sets and it's golden brown on top. So I will see you guys when I'm pulling it out of the oven. All right, moment of truth, guys. It's ready. Check it out. Look at that perfection. All those brown hills and valleys. It's beautiful. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to need to let it cool for a minute, and I'm going to have to show you guys what it looks like, right? See you in a minute. Okay. Let's give this a taste. What do you think? Looks perfect. And this would not be the size bowl that I would serve my husband. He would eat just out of the baking container. Okay. It's still pretty warm. It's perfect. I mean, honestly, it's great. It's not too sweet. The banana flavor comes through. And once it's sat for about, 2 hours or so, it's going to be even better. Everything's going to marry together. It'll be the hit of every family gathering this holiday season if you make this banana pudding, I promise. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please follow me at Lana's Place Southern Cooking on Facebook or subscribe to my page right here on YouTube. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.